our standards as Americans are just going down the drain. Our standards are just going completely down the drain, and black people are leading the way. You always have these pro-blacks that say black women set the trends. Black people, we set the trends for America. Black women, the direction in which black women go, that's where America follows. You always hear black people say that blacks set the trends and the rest of America always follows. And that part of that might be true because we see America falling for this hip hop nonsense. We see American culture veering in a direction that's more so like black culture, and it's not a good thing. It's really not a good thing. They've always said black men like fat women. And why is that? Because black men always settle for less. Okay, if you get with a fat woman, you're settling for less. You guys saw how I got on woke dating. And I got on woke dating. I was clicking yes. I went back and I reviewed that show. I was clicking yes on a lot of fat women. Why is that? Well, it's because I got a low self esteem. I don't feel like I'm deserving of the top notch woman. I feel like I got to get with a fat woman. A fat man, excuse me, a fat woman is the low self esteem man's refuge. That's what it should be. A fat woman should be the low self esteem man's refuge. If you're a man that has a low self esteem, you should always be able to get with a fat woman that helps you get back on track. Not so much anymore, folks. Not so much anymore. We live in a world where fat women are told that they're just like regular women. Fat women are told, girl, you're just as beautiful, you just as pretty, you are just as fine as a woman who puts effort into her beauty. You're just as fine, even though you go to McDonald's every night eating chicken nuggets. My last ex girlfriend, she thought she was fine as I don't know what. She weighed 450 pounds. Every night, I don't care if we had breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Every night for a snack, she would have a 40-piece nugget from McDonald's. I'm not lying. Every night, and she would just eat those nuggets throughout the night. And I thought, this is some fat shit. This is some fat shit. And she thought you better not get no little 100-pound cute girl and sit that cute girl next beside her. She thinks she the finest thing in the room. I don't care if you get the finest, you can get a Beyonce. You couldn't tell that big fat heifer nothing. You couldn't tell that big fat bitch nothing. Looking like a Mini Cooper. You couldn't tell her nothing because she thought she was the finest thing on the planet. Why is that happening? Well, we live in a topsy turvy world. We live in a topsy turvy world. We live in a world where right is wrong and wrong is right. We tell the fat women instead of telling the fat women to work out and that you're not as beautiful as you think you are, baby, until you go to that gym, until you push that plate back, stop eating all them pork ribs, stop eating pots of cereal. It's some fat women out here. Fat women eat pots of cereal until we can't tell them that. We live in a world where we tell men that they're women and we tell the women that they're men. And what happens as a result of that? Well, what happens as a result of that is you have mess like this. This is your 2024 Miss Alabama. And I've been to Alabama before. I've been to Montgomery. I've been to They have a civil rights museum in Alabama. I've been to Birmingham. I love Birmingham. Birmingham. I always say Birmingham, Birmingham, the greatest city in Alabama. You can travel across this entire land. There ain't no place like Birmingham. I always love Birmingham every time I go to Birmingham. But Alabama, you guys dropped the ball with this one. This is your most recent 2024 Miss Alabama. They put this big fat white woman. She's the Miss Alabama. And you know what I found interesting about this? This was the Miss Alabama before her, a black woman. This was Miss 2024 Miss Alabama. She's big enough to be Miss 2024, Miss 2026. She weighs as much as the last three or four participants. This is a 400-pound woman. This was the Miss Alabama before her. What I find interesting about that, what the people who selected this woman, They selected her before. Before they start bringing in DEI, they always have black women as a cloak. Black women are always the cloak of the Democratic Party. Whenever you start seeing a bunch of black women show up somewhere, understand there's some nonsense that's about to take place. So they selected this black woman as a DEI Miss Alabama, and she's an actually beautiful black woman. But look at how they trashed it. They trashed this decision by selecting a black woman by putting this big fat white woman before her. Guys, we got to do better. This was the Miss Alabama before that, right? In 2022, they just went downhill. They went from this to this to this. Our standards as Americans just have to get better. We choose the worst, and it's because of liberalism. It's because of inclusivity. Liberalism brings about inclusivity. And if you have inclusivity, you have to accept the transgenders, you have to accept the freaks, you have to accept the fats, you have to accept the femmes, you have to accept some of the lowest common denominators. You have to accept it. Why? Because you're the party of inclusivity. We include everyone. Well, folks, that's just not going to work for a decent America. America has always been great. This country, I'm going to say this and I'm going to close. America has always been great because we've excluded people, because we've denied people, because we've said, you don't have the standards of what it is to be an actual American, or you don't have the standards of what it is to be an idealistic American. You don't have the standards of what it is to be a good American. You're too fat to be Miss Alabama. We, we live in a culture where everyone's got to be number one because they participated. This is not beautiful. Nothing about this is beautiful. Now this woman is beautiful because why? You can tell she works out. She puts effort into her beauty. No, I mean this woman didn't put any effort into anything. She put effort into going to Popeyes. She put effort into going to KFC. She put effort into going to the all you can eat buffet. In fact, she thought when she heard all you can eat buffet, she thought that was a personal challenge. She took that as a personal challenge, an all you can eat buffet. And she got banned from the buffet. Right? This is not it. This should not be the standard. But in this new leftist America, this is the new standard. This is your new Miss Alabama. I think it's absolutely appalling. I think it's embarrassing. But let me know what you think in the comment section. And remember to like, subscribe, share, and as always, stay woke.